What Men Want and Night Shift coming up next on the blog rundown. And we're going to kick off the show, John, with the latest written review from D.M. Anderson, What Men Want, obviously the latest film from Adam Shankman.
Yes, Stephen, this is the one we spoke about in depth in Box Office Chat. I, of course, didn't speak very positively about this movie, Stephen, at all. I haven't seen it. I did say I had no intention of going to see it.
Yeah.
And despite Dave's admittedly fantastic writing, as ever, because he is a truly gifted chap when it comes to putting his thoughts down about movies and just breaking it down, I don't think it's enough to get me to actually go and watch it. I said before, Stephen, it's the type of movie, if it comes on the TV and it maybe catches my attention and gives me just a little modicum of something, then I may stick around and watch it.
What I got from the review, John, was it was more focused on the lead. Taraji P. Henson, who's a great actor. And you know what she brought to the movie, rather than how good the film or how bad the film was. She certainly did. I mean, and if you're going to take anything out of the film, whether you like this movie or not, is that the fact that really did test her sort of comedic acting chops.
I'm not sure if that's something we've ever seen from Taraji P. Henson, Stephen.
I've not.
I was first acquainted with her on Hidden Figures, and that was obviously, it had comedic moments in it actually, and perhaps some dark comedic moments. I don't think it involved her character though. I think it was the other one. She was the main scientist that get invited into the team. Involved with putting them on the moon, and she was making darts between the toilets, which was the other side of the NASA complex. That was dark comedy. But I don't think Taraji P. Henson was involved in any comedic moments in that. But out with that, Stephen, she has been in the likes of Ice Age, a short little TV short, so perhaps she is acquainted with comedy. I've not been incredibly focused on her career. It's not really something I've watched. I know, having seen Hidden Figures, though, that she is a very, very talented actress, and certainly she's going to go from strength to strength. So as you did say, Stephen, it's always nice, that is one benefit of the movie, if nothing else, to have someone like that on board is a real feather in the cap for the director, and I think Dave says that.
He does,
it really does stretch her. She's one of the main reasons to perhaps go and give this movie a bash, because
according to Dave,
she's the Mel Gibson of the movie.
Dave does say she seems tailor-made for this movie, and she's finally getting her due as an A-lister as well, which can't be a bad thing for her in regards to her career. But he does say it's both a good and a bad thing, because I think the bad thing is coming that it's maybe not the worst film in the world, but it's not certainly
perhaps
a great
the movie
film either.
That she deserves to be obviously leading. Obviously it's a gender switching again, Stephen. We've seen that done quite a lot recently. Obviously Ghostbusters is the most prominent one. We've seen it with Ocean's 8. Actually, I did bash Ocean's 8 when it was in box office, and we were talking about it, but when I went to watch it, I actually did get a great deal of enjoyment out of that movie. I have to say, it was actually a decent little heist sort of a movie, and the very strong female sort of leads helped propel a lukewarm plot. So perhaps this is the same, they've gender switched it. The story may be a little bit crap, a little bit predictable, and I think, in fact, Dave does say that in the review. It's quite formulaic and quite predictable, I think, in parts. I can't get the exact quote on me, Stephen, because I'm toiling reading it, but she is good enough, perhaps, in the gender switching, similar to what the likes of, I think it was Rihanna and I can't recall who else was in Anne Hathaway and things like that. Maybe she's doing this, carrying all of the weight, the gorilla-sized weight on her shoulders.
That's what normally happens with these movies, John.
As
Dave says, the formula has been used time and time again, where whether normally the person will start off as not a very nice person, this gift will appear to them, some kind of mystical, magical thing that happens, this event in their lives. They abuse it at first, and then they have a bit of self-reflection on their own lives, and they become the better person. Groundhog Day is a great example of that, with the Bill Murray character, Phil Connors. But that's what I get from this, there's a lot of self-reflecting probably midway through this film. I'm obviously surmising because I've not seen the movie yet. But I'm like you, John, I think once it comes on Sky Movies, I probably will watch this, because it's been a long time since I saw the Mel Gibson What Women Want film. Helen Hunt, I think, was in that as well. I can't remember.
It's been a long
I think it came out about 19, 20 years ago, so it's been a long time. I got a little kick out of that because at the time Mel Gibson was probably at the top of his game at the time, and they did bring that. I think Dave also says this in the review. He brought his charisma to the film as well. This is what I see from Henson. Yeah, definitely the same kind of charisma. She's definitely got charisma on screen, as we've seen in her previous movies as well. Yeah, and it's also a great cast as well. You know, that she's working with. Adam Shankman. We were talking before we came on. Air John, we only really know him from a film he did in 2007, Hairspray. Yeah,
Hairspray, obviously starring John Travolta.
Yeah, as a lady,
a lady. Yeah. So he's not a guy that I'm well acquainted with at all, Stephen. But look, I'm always for giving directors a chance. Obviously, people who have perhaps not had great success in their career up to date, give them a chance to build their career doing stuff like this. Is this going to propel him into a massive sort of a blockbuster? Probably not, but look, if he's going to develop as a director and grow perhaps into something better in time, then I'm all for that. But Stephen, just looking at the cast, I've actually tried to find the guy who's on the front cover. I think it's Tracy Morgan. Yeah. I've had to go right all the way down the cast list, and he's nowhere near the top. I find that slightly odd. He's on the cover. He's clearly the co-lead with Taraji P. Henson, perhaps. I've not seen the movie. Maybe Dave can tell us. But he's another feather in the cap for this movie, Stephen. He was in, I believe, Fist Fight a couple of years ago. I actually reviewed that movie. Yeah. It wasn't an amazing film by any means, but it was actually a pretty decent little comedy movie. I think it starred it's Ice Cube.
Right, okay.
Ice Cube. The guy that was part of the whole Compton sort of a thing. I think it was straight out of Compton. So he's another feather in the cap for the movie, Stephen. We've also got the likes. I think he's been in the likes of The Star as well, another movie I reviewed. Yeah. So he's shown his versatility. He was in The Longest Yard with Adam Sandler. So there's certainly elements within the movie. I digress, I'm going off on a tangent, taking 10-second gaps, looking at the iPad, looking at movies. But there's enough elements within there in terms of acting performances, at least, to perhaps attract me if it comes on the TV.
And you might change your tune, just like you did with Ocean's 8.
And I changed my tune with obviously The Kid Who Would Be King and various other movies. So I'm also a very fickle guy.
Great thing about film reviews, you know, they can change your ways. But listen, we'll move on to our next movie review, which comes in from our very own Stephen Wilkins. And this is a film from last year. It's called Night Shift, John. This is directed and written by Stephen Hall and stars the likes of Ashley Durrell, Matthew O'Brien and Angel Hannigan. Yes,
Stephen, this is obviously a horror movie. It's set within the confines of a hotel. Yeah. I've not seen the movie, but I have to say from Steve's interpretation of the movie, it certainly hit what he's wrote in his review, and just what I've picked out of other movie reviews for it, or reviews of the movie, I should say.
We also watched the trailer.
We watched the trailer, yeah, I was going to get to that as well, yeah. There's elements within this that actually intrigue me, Stephen. The fact that it's, looking at the trailer, incidentally, the fact that it's got elements, is it 1408? Yeah. Elements of 1408. And it gave me vibes of that X-Files episode, that great X-Files episode. I can't recall
Audrey Polly, I think it was called.
Yeah, where they were locked within this parallel sort of a universe, stuck inside a hospital. Yeah. And there was forces trying to obviously screw with them and stuff like that. So that's essentially what's going on here. This woman goes to get a third shift job. I actually had to Google that, Stephen.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not a term we are obviously familiar with over here in the United Kingdom. Third shift is essentially night shift, funny enough, name of the movie. What would you know? But yeah, she goes and gets this job as a receptionist. She starts digging some dirt up on the nefarious history surrounding this hotel. There's a lot of murders taking place here and whatnot, and the ghosts start obviously haunting her. I think the receptionist guy that's working with her is more knowledgeable. I think he may be complicit in it. He's brought her in. He's certainly not Samuel L. Jackson in 1408 where he's wandered off. He seems to be complicit. Yeah. And then she's sort of on this lonesome figure. It gave me Shining vibes as well. There was a moment in the trailer, obviously nowhere near the calibre of a Shining, but she was locked in her room and she's looking through the eye thing.
Yeah, John, all those elements that you were mentioning are from the Shining 1408 and it is Audrey Polly. I looked it up, so a bit of a X-Files nerd here. But listen, I got all that from the trailer. Yeah. What I also got from the trailer, sadly, was obviously it had a very small budget, the movie. Yeah. Those elements in there were quite intriguing, and I think on a bigger budget that would have been, quite a successful. I'm not saying this isn't a successful film, but obviously on a grander scale. Yeah. The other thing as well I got from it was certainly from the trailer was the sort of partner in crime in this film, dies. It tells you that in the trailer. It's such a spoil.
The guy?
On the narration they said, I'm already dead and I'm stuck here or something like that.
Oh, so he was complicit?
Yeah,
I thought it was the guy I was talking about. So he was complicit. He knew of the acts and the stuff going on within this building.
That's what I got from it anyway.
And he drew her in there, so he definitely isn't Samuel L. Jackson. He's not warning her away. He's trying to drag her in, and if he's got to suffer in perpetuity, then
I don't know if that was his intentions. Certainly not from what I got from the trailer anyway.
No, he seemed like a nice guy, but there was something off with him. But Stephen, you're absolutely right. It clearly is a lower budget sort of a movie. You can get that sense just looking at the aesthetics of a movie and stuff like that. Doesn't mean it's going to be bad. We've seen it time and again. Horror movies are one of the few genres in the modern movie business which can be done on a kind of a shoestring budget.
You can do it on an iPhone.
You can do it on an iPhone. I actually watched one with an iPhone. I can't recall what it was called. I was set inside. It was about a stalker and it was taking place in a mental asylum, and it was completely filmed on an iPhone 7, I think Plus or something. So you certainly can do it on an iPhone, Stephen, and it's that was a good movie actually. So certainly it can be done. It is possible to do a horror movie, which is okay on a very small budget. But one thing I did get, Stephen, I'm going off on a massive tangent.
Oh, go for it.
That's just something I do. But one of the aspects of the trailer that really intrigued me, and Steve actually picks up on it and points it out on the movie review, is the true dark feeling. The feeling of true darkness. Not a lot of movies can tackle it and get it right. The sense of the claustrophobic nature of the darkness. Obviously surrounding the main character, and just the torch being the one source of light. We see that in the trailer. She shines a flashlight or a torch. We call it different things depending on what side of the Atlantic you're in, and it obviously highlights one of these ghostly figures or apparitions. So that was another element I really enjoyed from the trailer, the sense of actual darkness. They really did nail that, so hats off to them. He says, thankfully void of jump scares, and the overall fear factor is about 7 out of 10. So I'm glad that's another positive for me, Stephen, because I hate movies that rely too much on jump scares. I like psychological horror movies.
Again, I'm sorry if I'm going back to the trailer rather than the review, but it's actually, in conjunction with what Steve's saying.
Yeah, well, we've not seen the movie, Stephen.
The void of the jump scares was they were trying their best, or maybe too hard, to that scene at the very end where she's looking through the spyglass and it's herself looking back with a smile. It's been done before, been done many a times, and certainly some of the scenes that we saw in that trailer have done a million times. That's the only thing about that genre. It does seem to repeat itself a lot in a lot of horror films. Yeah,
well, Stephen, that's just the nature of obviously the horror genre. It's very much full of cliches and sort of a cheap parlour tricks, I like to say. But look, I've not seen the movie. I can't speak from personal sort of a opinion about the merits of the artistic merits of the movie, so I can't really talk. But certainly, Steve got something out of it. He gave it a B+.
The director, Stephen Hall, I had a little look at his IMDb there as well, John. Mostly just shorts he's done, not short films, that is.
Well, Stephen, again, that's not going to hold you back, because I have noticed there's a sizable proportion of great directors had their start in horror. So small horror movies, independent, and then they went on to bigger success. So perhaps Stephen Hall will be one of those guys. Then again,
who knows?
He may not be.
But listen, that just brings us to the end of this week's blog rundown. We'd just like to thank you once again for joining us, and we'll be back again tomorrow with the Force Friday show.